What is up, you guys? Marty McFly coming at you, bringing you guys the merch. Today, I'm going to talk about a couple of holy grails that I found. Things that I found in the wild that I didn't think I would find, at least not for a reasonable price. You can find them on eBay, Amazon, which I do shop on those websites. But to find these in the wild was just so much more meaningful, so much more exciting, especially when I wasn't expecting to find them. I found them at one of my favorite record stores in Tampa, Florida. It's called Mojos Records. Any of my friends that knows me, if I go in there, something bad's going to happen, aka I'm going to spend a whole bunch of money. The nice thing that Mojo's does, and shout out to those guys, one of the things that they do, if you spend every $10 you spend, they give you a stamp on this card. They basically do a hole punch or a stamp, depending on what they have that day. And for every 10 hole punches or stamps, you get $10 off anything in the store except for vinyl, of course, unfortunately. But I found a lot of books that way, a lot of CDs, a lot of things like that. Now, I've obviously been a pretty good patron of theirs, so I had $10 off this time. But what it is, it's just a really nice books and coffee and record store. I love going in there, but nothing good ever happens to me when I go in there. These are a couple holy grails I've been looking for in the wild for a long time at a decent price, which of course, they're worth quite a bit of money now. And there's a bunch of other places I like going to as well, but this is by far one of my favorites. If you're not familiar, Mojo's Records is right next to the University of South Florida. It's also on the other side next to the University Mall. And RIP FYE, because that mall had one of the best FYEs I've ever been to. I remember back in college, this is going back to 2008 09, that mall started becoming more and more defunct as time goes on, and that FYE was closing down. Everything was 50% off. I went insane when I went in there. Got a lot of great records in there that I wouldn't be able to find today for the prices I got them at. And the mall is pretty defunct. Most of it is closing down, and it is being built into the new Yingling Entertainment Center. Now, if you're not familiar with Yingling, it's a beer that started in Pennsylvania. By far one of my favorite beers. I have family from Pennsylvania. I'm a big Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I love Yingling. We have a plant in Tampa, and they're building a huge entertainment center, and I think that's where that's going. There's been rumors that the USF Bulls are building a new football stadium there. However, with their performance lately, I don't think that's going to be happening. So it makes more sense for USF to keep using the Tampa Bay Buck Stadium. It's an awesome stadium. I didn't mind going there. I loved going there in college, especially going to the Buck Stadium to watch football games. So I don't see why. Anyway, I digress. Here we're going to talk about a couple of our grails today. So I'm going to make you wait, actually. So I found this for $5. This is Dexter Gordon, Gotham City. By far one of my favorite saxophonists, jazz musicians. Standard issue black vinyl. I was actually very happy to be able to pick this up. He's by far one of my favorite saxophonists. He plays tenor. I played alto bari sax for a very long time. I played in a couple of jazz groups, and then I played jazz band all throughout high school and middle school. And one of my friend's bosses, who's a big tech guru, he had a little combo. We'd all get together and record songs and play together. If you're just getting into jazz, you want something a little bit on the smoother side, you want to learn basically the basic mechanics of jazz, but you want to get into something really good, I can't recommend Dexter Gordon enough. He's fantastic. Now, something I didn't think I'd see in the wild, not for this price anyway. This is Sanctuary with Refuge Denied. I was so happy to be able to find a copy of this because I know this went up for a lot more money, especially after the passing of Worrell Dane. Rest in power, brother. We will see you on the other side one day. He unfortunately passed away in Brazil. He had some health issues, obviously, but this is one of my favorite Sanctuary records. They even released one, the very last one they basically released before he passed was also fantastic. This is a little bit more of Worrell Dane's higher pitched vocals, definitely not the slower, like kind of doomier vocals that he developed later on, especially on his solo project, which is also fantastic. If you haven't heard Worrell Dane's solo projects, both of them, 1 and 2, they're both fantastic. But to find this in the wild, and I only paid 15 bucks, I was a big fan. So, I know some of you guys are like me, you always want to see what's on the inside. So, standard issue black vinyl, but we have a beautiful insert. Old school, man. This is a first press. Looked up the number myself. This is a first press of Sanctuary, Refuge Denied. It was definitely going for more money on eBay. I'm very thankful to Mojo's Records for making this a decent price and, for picking this up. What happened was I think some guy just walked into Mojo's Records and just dumped a whole crap ton of metal. I'm talking Incantation, Obsessed, Possessed, just everything. Hollow's Eve. I saw so much metal in there, old school metal, going for really reasonable prices. And a lot of Possessed. I mean, I think every Possessed record was in there. So if you're a Possessed guy, you're in the Florida area, you want to stop over at Mojo's Records, they have almost all their records on first press on vinyl, going for really reasonable prices. Same for Incantation as well. Now, this is the one I was most excited about because I never thought I would find this in the wild for a decent price, but this is Iron Maiden's Somewhere in Time. This is a first press vinyl for these guys. This is not the remade edition where they kind of fixed up the cover a little bit. This is, look, we got the band photo, we got the liner notes, we got the lyrics insert, standard edition black vinyl with a very nice center fold rings. Now, I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, but this is my favorite Iron Maiden record of all time, Somewhere in Time. I don't want to hear that Seventh Son of a Seventh Son is the best. People are going to disagree, but Seventh Son is a fantastic record. I love it. I love the majority. Actually, I love all of Iron Maiden's albums, even the ones that people say they hate. Fear from the Dark, all of that. You know, I know people didn't like them, but I enjoyed them. It's just Iron Maiden to me. It's like I enjoy listening to it. But I don't think Seventh Son is my favorite. I think Somewhere in Time is just the record that just grabbed me by the throat, and I just wanted to listen to it over and over and over again. You know, people have their reasons for liking the albums that they like, but this by far my favorite. Now, if we're going to go by favorite song, by far, without a doubt, Sea of Madness was probably my favorite track on this record. If you're not familiar with the song, basically, if you go a couple minutes into it, there's just this midsection. It's very calming, very soothing. Bruce Dickinson changes his vocals a little bit, makes it a little bit more jazzy, a little bit more bluesy. And that is what I love about heavy metal. We can just go from heavy, heavy, heavy to this calming, soothing acoustic guitar, you know, midsection, and that's why I love that album so much, and that's why I love that song so much. I remember, I'll never forget the first time I heard this. My brother gave me a burned copy of it. This is going back on burning on CDs. He burned me a copy of Somewhere in Time. I was reading Dracula in the backseat of my parents' car. I was in high school, and actually no, it was before that. I was reading this in middle school. I was about 12 or 13 when I read Dracula for the first time, and that record just grabbed me, and that's when I became like a huge Iron Maiden fan. So that is kind of those are the big grails for me. I was so happy to find a copy of those in the wild, but I'm going to go talk about two more records with you guys real quick. If you'll stick with me, this is none other than the newest from Era. This is their self-titled album. I can't say enough good things about this record. This might be the best Era record. I can't say of all time because I love Augment. I really do. I think Augment was the first Era record I ever bought, and I fell in love with it. This is the best thing since Augment. It's just fantastic. I can't say enough good things about it. Every track on here is a work of art. They have one heavy track called Scorpion Hymn. It's really hard and heavy, and everything's down-tuned. Gives you, I mean, just like Meshuggah-ish type riffs. And then even their screamer actually came out and did a little bit of like clean screaming as well on that song. My favorite song on the record, it's really hard. I mean, I love Gungrave, I love Divisionary, Shadow Autonomous, but the song that really pulled me in, maybe Vanish Canvas and maybe Remnant, just the songs that really pulled me in, and just I haven't stopped listening to it. I only took it out of my car because I wanted to show you guys. If you don't have this record, pick it up. If you don't have it on vinyl, CD, whatever you guys listen to, the vinyls went like hotcakes. The vinyls were sold out for in 2 seconds. Amazon has a clear vinyl I was kind of in between on, and that was sold out instantly. Kind of regretting not picking that up now. Absolutely fantastic. I think it's the best thing Era's really done since Augment. I love all of their albums, but that's the one. I don't even want to call it their magnum opus because of Augment and the albums that came before Augment, but that self-titled record, that is the album that you wish every band could do 40 times in their life, and that's the one. And lo and behold, I have one more gift for you guys today. This is the latest from Evergray. This is Escape of the Phoenix. Very nice matte format texture here. Beautiful photo. I absolutely love the front cover. This is an album that I should have bought on vinyl, but I wanted to have it in the car. Gotta have it in the car because it's just not as much fun. We have a nice gatefold. My apologies, I let the CD fall out. If you guys want to see the CD, this is it. Now, this did not, unfortunately, come with the bonus track. And the tragedy of this record is there was only a few ways to get the bonus track. you can just go on Amazon MP3 or YouTube and go listen to it. I strongly recommend you listen to the bonus track because that should have been included on the album, and I think that should have been the final closer. The final closer is called Run. Fantastic song, but I think the final closer should have been the bonus track, and I'm deeply disappointed that you have to go get the art book just to get that. The art book was cool, but unfortunately, their distributor is AFM Records, who is a really poor distributor in the United States. You got to pay a lot of extra money to get their records to come over to the US. And unfortunately, that art book was like $65, and the only thing you get was a couple extra art pages, which is really nice, hardback, but you get a bonus track and you get an instrumental. Notable tracks for this, I mean, every single one of them is fantastic. They have a couple of ballads on there as well. I mean, Escape of the Phoenix, but I think Eternal Nocturnal is probably my favorite track on the record. When I heard that as the single, I was like, yep, done. It's coming home to me. If you guys are an Evergray fan, I think this is better than the Atlantic. I love The Storm Within. I love Hymns for the Broken. Now, if you talk to my brother, he says Hymns for the Broken is their best record. Whew, that's a statement and a half, and I agree. I mean, it's a fantastic album. I love Hymns for the Broken. I love everything they've done. I don't have a bad album for Evergrey. I love Monday Morning Apocalypse, but their very first record, it's a hard toss-up. This is going to go up there, Hymns for the Broken. My favorite album from Evergrey is probably Torn. Between that and the very first record that they ever did, it's a hard toss-up between the two. I love the guest vocals with Karina England, who is related to Thomas England. I think that's his wife, if I'm not saying that incorrectly. Karina's got an absolutely gorgeous voice, and I love when he includes her. He's included a couple other guest vocalists, but the coolest one is here. The guest vocalist on here is James Libri from none other than Dream Theater. Absolutely fantastic duet between those guys. For a while, he also had the lead singer from Nightwish. She did 2 tracks with them on the Storm Within album as well. So, as you can tell, Evergrey is a monumental discography. Start anywhere, you can't go wrong. And that is the big haul for today, guys. I was so happy to find a couple of Grails in the wild. Shout out to all the heavy metal vinyl community out there, those guys that keep making videos and hauls and things like that. Shout out to you guys, because without you, I would have never done this. I think this is just a really fun project. It's a good distraction for me, especially just get away from the hospital, get away from residency and all that, and it's just a lot of fun. Tonight, we're going to try a couple of the microbreweries. There's a thing in Florida. A couple of the microbreweries have all gotten together, and there's a passport. It's a microbrewery passport. Basically, if you buy the passport, go to a brewery, they usually give you like a beer and a sticker and a stamp or something like that. And if you complete it, you get a prize at the end. So we're going to try a couple tonight. But, to all you guys out there, stay safe, stay strong, stay healthy, take care of each other. And if that dude falls out in the pit, you pick that guy up. All right? Cheers, guys.